Everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be reading Milk and Honey Devotional by Cambria. Amos, a taste of hunger. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord God, when I will send a famine on the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Amos 8:11. Scripture tells us to think about whatever is true and lovely and to set our minds on things above, not on things below. But what do we do when things here below me are making us think that things are true but not so lovely? How do we take heart when reality wearies our hearts? With daily negative news, natural disasters, hardship, and misfortune, we long to catch a glimpse of the sunset through the fog. And then we read Amos and have to figure out what to do with this. I will send a famine on the land, God says, of hearing the words of the Lord. Wait, you might think, what if the solution to our hunger for goodness is hidden right there in plain sight? Here in check, he's not sending a famine of the word, but of hearing the word. The famine is within us, which means the solution likely will be too. Jesus addressed this hunger in the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Matthew 5:6. The problem is, in Amos' day, the people were not hungry for righteousness. Their hearts weren't open to what God had to say. It's not that God wasn't speaking or wouldn't speak, but that they didn't want to listen. God would close their ears because of their already closed hearts. All know the feeling perhaps too well of trying to talk to someone who doesn't want to listen. It's disheartening to try to connect with someone who doesn't want to hit the tennis ball of dialogue back over the net. Conversation can only happen on two-way street. Otherwise, it's not a conversation but a lecture, and God has no desire to be a dictator. He's a father. If we're hungry for God, we come to listen and be satisfied. But if we got no appetite for Him, He won't demand we come and sit at the table. So the famine here isn't a lack of food, but a lack of desire to eat, in the presence of a Father who won't force feed. We can't fill ourselves with a nourishing meal if we spoil our appetite. That's why it's so important for us to figure out what we really want, not what we think we want. It sounds like a dream to eat nothing but ice cream until it isn't. It sounds smart to try to store up money until it leaves you empty in your soul. It feels good to live for the approval of people until you disappoint them. It feels fun to lay up treasure on earth until a thief breaks in and steals. It sounds enjoyable to live for material things until they inevitably rust. We usually look through the lens of first-order thinking, which is fast and emotion-driven, focused on immediate gratification. But if we pump the brakes and look through the second order of things, we'll receive the wisdom of considering the consequences that follow our behavior. Again, it might sound fun to eat Sundays all day until you consider the ripple effect. We need to look at what we want through the lens of our ultimate desire, otherwise we'll fill up and still be empty. Maybe the solution to a satisfied soul is to stay hungry. When we're hungry for more than the food that perishes, we'll have an appetite for the things that truly nourish. The kind of things that don't get stolen, end up lost, or become rusted. Don't fall for the temptation to fill up on something that isn't ultimately fulfilling. We don't have to be afraid of never being satisfied if we stayed hungry and thirsty, because that was the heart of the promise Jesus spoke to the woman at the well. Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. John 4:13-14. May we never find ourselves in a famine. Instead, let's choose to stay hungry for Him.